Oh my goodness. Welcome back. It's been an amazing week. It's been a trying week. It's been a reflective week. But I hope that you are ready to dance again. Peace, everybody. I am LadyBlack, LightWorker. And at this moment, I am just so very grateful, so very excited, and so very happy to be alive, to be here, and to be blessed, and to be able to share my blessings with you. It means the world to me, and I'm super excited about it. I hope you can feel my excitement because I know sometimes I can contain myself. It's something that I have fought against my whole life is being contained, yet I often do contain myself. But I hope you can feel my energy, guys. I hope you can feel me. I hope that the energy that God is sending through me is reaching you. And I just pray that this moment that we spend together is beneficial to all involved. I pray that you are finding your way on your path. I pray that every message you receive, whether it's from me or through me, that you receive it with great joy, with an open heart and an open mind. I pray that my heart is opened, that my mind is open to receive all the blessings that can be received. And I pray the same for you. We enter this journey, and I just wanted to also, from the beginning, just lay it out on the table. We are here to help each other. No one is here to be above the other, below the other. We are here to create a community that we are able to mutually benefit from. So I don't want anyone to ever think that because God is using me for this particular platform that I am on a platform or that I am on some sort of pedestal. It's very important to me that you know the struggles that I've been through, that you know that we're all the same, and that you know that I'm just as, you're just as important to me. I'm just as in need of all the healing and all the things we talk about and all the direction that I'm sharing with you. And the reason why I felt very compelled to say that is because a lot of times, especially in the spiritual world, people can, and in our society, probably even more so in our society, people get put on a pedestal because they have a gift. And the reality is we all have a gift. God is using us all for a purpose and for a reason. And if you haven't found that reason yet, that's fine. You're on your path. You're heading in the right direction. If you're listening to this, I pray that you are heading in the right direction, and we will all find our gifts together, and we will all mutually benefit from those gifts. I remember last week, or maybe the week before, when I said that the way to heal the world, at some point we said that the way to heal the world starts with healing yourself. And part of me doing this is me healing myself, because I've been called to do this for so long, and I didn't listen, and I didn't join in on the conversation that's being had in the world. I contained myself, and I contained myself out of fear. There goes another word that we need to really delve deep into. Fear. It's a big word, and I don't want to get in it today because that's not the goal of today's message, but just remember that word, and remember that when you are living in fear, you are definitely not living in your purpose. And fear is a big one for me. That is one of the things that has kept me from really exploring myself and exploring the blessings and the lessons and the usefulness and the service that I can bring to the world. Let's put a pin in that, because we're going to have to come back to it. Did you stop running yet? I know we've been talking about being on this hamster wheel, about attaching so many responsibilities to ourselves so that we always feel busy, so we don't have to deal with the parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily like or that we fear. And we have a lot of unknown battles and unknown parts of ourselves that we keep pushing down and tampering down and containing out of whatever reason, guilt, shame, fear, all these things that bombard our spirit and bombard our ego. And it's important for us to stop running. It's important for us to take a breath. If there's no other theme that I've been trying to push out to you, or that I've been open to sharing with you, is that we have to take a time out. We have to take a time out and reevaluate who we are, what we are, why we are, how we are, where we are, and where we want to be, who we want to be. So I asked a few questions, but the very important question that I asked last week was, are you fulfilled? And if there's any part of you that you feel is unfulfilled or is needing nurturing or needing attention, then it's time that you pay attention to it. It's time that you stop, feel, and address it. We have to stop what we're doing and redirect our attention to ourselves. That's what self-knowledge, that's what self-healing is all about. We have a duality, and we talked about putting spirit before flesh, and I wanted to ask you another question. And before we get to that question, I want to label or name spirit and flesh. The spirit self and the ego self and the flesh self. In ancient Kemet, which is now known as Egypt, but then it was called Kemet, land of the black, their way of knowing self was to know that there are 9 parts of the self. We're going to take that to another level and discuss that too in a later video. But right now, the parts of the self that I want you to think about are the ego self, the flesh self, and the spirit self. And the ego self is that voice inside your head, the detractor, the voice inside your head that says, be offended by that. The voice inside your head that has you running to accomplish goals that are not necessarily in your purpose. The ego self is the part of self that tells you to fight, that tells you that you're not enough, that tells you that you're lacking something. And the reason why it tells you that is because it's trying to protect you from the world, protect you from disappointment, protect you from your unspoken expectations. And the ego self will have you do nothing for protection. The ego self will have you stay comfortable. But the spirit self wants you to grow, wants you to learn, and wants you to use all of the talents that have been given to you. So there's this duality happening. And then we have our flesh self, which definitely wants to be comfortable, but wants to indulge in the world. So the question I was going to ask you is it bad for us to live in the flesh? That's a question I want you to answer yourself. I don't want to give you the answer to that, at least not right now. I will share my opinion in the next video, but right now I want you to just dwell on that and think about that. Now, I personally always have to fight with my ego self. My ego self is loud. My ego self tells me to be offended by things. My ego self tells me, this hurts, don't do it. Don't exercise because it hurts. My ego self tells me to stay comfortable where I am, because if you do that, you're only going to disappoint yourself in the long run. This voice that's constant in our mind is just here for protection, and in some places it's very necessary. But once we start to sit in spirit, we start to realize the difference between when the ego is necessary and when spirit is necessary. And when we start to sit in spirit, we start to realize that spirit teaches us how to manage our ego. Spirit teaches us how to manage our flesh. When we want to eat, when we shouldn't be, when we don't want to exercise, because that's my struggle. That is definitely my struggle. I use that as an example because that's me. That is me. That is where I allow my ego to overrun my spirit. Now, where is it in your life that you allow your ego to overrun your spirit? Did you take inventory? Did you take inventory this week? It's very important. I feel like I'm all over the place, but everything coincides with the point that I'm trying to make, is that being with your spirit self, whether that's through meditation, like we spoke, whether that's through prayer, whether that's through breath work, but in almost all cases, it is being still and self-analyzing. And once you start to take the time to self-analyze and ask yourself, what was the trigger in that? What made me make that decision? Why didn't I do what felt good? Why didn't I do what was burning in my heart? Why did I go to my default and just do what was easy or what was comfortable? Where in my life am I allowing my fears or my guilt or my shame to stop me from being my best self? Take a moment to review your week and ask yourself, did I put spirit before flesh? Ask yourself, when were the moments where I chose flesh over spirit? Ask yourself why you did that. Ask yourself, what was the trigger to make you go one way, not the other? And sit with it. Sit with that decision. Ask yourself, how do I make a better decision next time? It is important that I remind you that this is my struggle. This is my healing just as much as it is yours. This is a communal experience to gain the strength and the confidence and the courage to live in our best and most divine self. Nothing exists but God. Jenyame. Nothing exists but God. So you are a reflection of me, and we are reflections of God. And we need each other. We reflect each other. We help each other to be our best selves. So this week, I want you to practice using spirit as your guide. When you're faced with a decision to make, even if it's something small, like whether to go left or right, whether to follow your GPS or whether to use your intuition. Your intuition is how spirit speaks to you. Even in the little things, sit in the spirit and ask which way to go. It is not, we're going to come back to that question. Is it bad to live in the flesh? I mean, aren't we human? Are we human? Are we only human? That's my message for today. I really pray that your heart was open, that your mind was open, that my heart and mind is open. Please like, share, subscribe. Please comment. Please answer the questions in the comment section. Is it bad to live in the flesh? I want to hear your opinion. Praise God for you. I love you. Till next week. Peace.